Not to your children and your grandchildren who won't see you because you decided to eat. Doesn't make any sense to me. Now, live from the American Family Insurance Studio in Milwaukee, here is Dr. Ken Harris.
How much time I got? Like 20 seconds? Nah. I was going to make a mad rush.
I'd be like, and good afternoon.
Get my cover. You're listening to Truth in the Afternoon. I'm your host, Dr. Ken Harris. 833-212-1017 is the number. What was that title I just gave you?
What are we coming to?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, what's happening in the world today? It seems like Republicans are blaming Democrats for everything that's going wrong, and Democrats are blaming Republicans for everything that's going wrong. And everybody says that if the other person takes over, then the democracy, democracy as we know it is over. The Supreme Court is terrible. The House of Representatives is terrible. The Senate, you know what? Y'all should all quit then. If it's that bad and it's that terrible, and if the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you should quit. Not quit the world, just quit your job. Get out of politics. Because whoever's in charge, to a point, things start to fall apart. Like, I don't understand where we're going that we're making politics an issue when inflation is so high. And I'm going to find the picture so that no one can call me a liar or say that I don't know what I'm talking about. So if I can show this, right? If you're looking on LinkedIn or if you're following me on YouTube, you see what I'm showing. I'm showing Zach. What does that say?
100. What? Oh, wait.
$137
Yeah,
even for 31 gallons, 31.869 gallons of gasoline.
In
100
a dump truck or a monster truck or where?
An SUV. A full-size SUV.
That like runs over like other cars or something, like that.
No.
What?
No. $137 to fill up the tank. So when we talk about there are issues in the world, think of all the people that we have in the world that are having issues right now financially, right? And gasoline is at a point where people that have money don't have money to buy gas. How are you supposed to get to work? Companies are being idiotic, telling people they can't work remotely. They have to come back to work. Like, of all the times right now that you would say, hey, I think you can work remote, now would be the time. What have we come to? That when the homicide rate is 20, 21, 22 people over what it was last year, and last year was a record year, and that was a record year before the year before that. And now you have a shooting where nobody died at the Deer District and we got a curfew. Why didn't we have a curfew beforehand? Because the people that were affected were not Black or Hispanic. They were white and they were business owners. One of the reasons why nobody cares about the Milwaukee public school system is because in many of the bad schools, white kids don't go to those schools. And so since white kids don't go to those schools, they don't really care. They'll put your kid in the school, but they won't put their kids in the school. You remember the conversation I had with Jill Underly last year? She took her own kids out of a public school and put them in a private school because she could afford it, but doesn't want anybody who goes to a public school in the city of Milwaukee to be able to take their children out of school if they don't like the school, or if their children aren't learning, and not be able to put them in a private school. And I'm talking private or parochial, right? They don't have to be Catholic or Lutheran or Islamic. It just needs to be public. What we're coming to is the people that are in charge, called politicians, seem to be the ones kowtowing to the money. But these are the same politicians that complain about rich people, and that national politicians kowtow to the money. But that's what our local ones do too. I can honestly say this city is worse off today than it was when I moved here in 1993. And in 1993, I remember telling somebody this the other day. I thought when I moved here in 1993, I should have moved here sooner. This city is phenomenal. I had a conversation today about crime on our sister station, 620 WTMJ. When one of the news people brought up, well, what about the community? We have to involve the community. Stop it. You have to stop the crime first. Then let's work with the community. Everybody wants to do everything together to the point where it's so convoluted and disjointed that nothing ever gets done. But I think that's what people want, because most of the people talking about it don't even live in the city of Milwaukee to begin with. So I think, first of all, if you don't live in the city of Milwaukee, you should shut up about anything that happens in the city. You shouldn't even mention it. Shouldn't come out of your mouth. And I mean Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, I don't care. If you're in Wisconsin and you don't live in Milwaukee, shut up. Because you don't live there. You don't pay taxes there. And if you don't like going south of Highway 60 because you're in Ozaukee County, stay in Ozaukee County. If you don't like coming west of 124th Street, or God forbid you're from Wauwatosa and want to come west of 60th, stay there. But what about downtown, and what about the money? Well, they don't care about the rest of the city anyway, so we could pick downtown up and shove it out too, along with all the politicians down there. Or guess what we can do? We can take about a month span and we can go through the city with supervision and take care of all the drugs and the crime. Start teaching children in schools how to be responsible. Or we can just have what we have now. Nothing. And it gets worse and worse. I call friends of mine on the West Coast. They say, oh, yeah, I heard about Milwaukee. I say, yeah. Where'd you hear about it at? Reuters. Okay. So now the international news service is picking up Milwaukee and sending it overseas. Like, people in England know how bad Milwaukee is. To the point, did anybody even talk about the fact that the Bucks lost? Nope. They were too busy talking about 17 people that got shot. So I could ask you the question, what's it coming to? But then I thought about it, and that's why I asked Zach, like, what was the title I gave you? Say that again. What was the title I gave you?
What are we coming to?
What are we coming to? But then I thought to myself, hey, dummy, that's the wrong title. You should have been thinking about what Milwaukee was, what it is. But then I thought maybe I should be thinking about what it could be. And then that's when it hit me. What are we coming to? Exactly what Milwaukee will be. Nothing.